Welcome back to Code Geass, episode 2. Lelouch of the Rebellion, R2, episode 2.
Two.
What's going on in the show?
Lelouch has a brother now. And he's lost his memory. And C2 is looking to rescue him. And all of my predictions were incorrect.
Has a brother, lost his memory, apparently has his memory back.
There were 6 wheels last episode.
And you don't know anything of what's going on.
Destiny calls regardless of journey.
Well, yeah, there was a thing about a repeat of before. Yes, this is a thing that's happened.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
And I am mean and evil for asking a question I knew you would get a wrong answer just for the fun of it. It's okay. We all had fun about it. So, shall we? Shall we continue on?
Let's dig in.
All right. We're going to go into Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, R2, Episode 2. And we are about to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Imperial Calendar 2018. As the Holy Britannian Empire continues its drive to dominate the world, a lone rebel is resurrected. His name is Zero. A mysterious girl named C2 has given him the power of Geass, the absolute power to compel anyone to obey him. Now, Zero is again challenging the Britannian conquerors of Japan, the once proud nation now referred to only as Area 11. As his actions spread like a ripple through the world, how will they affect the people of this age? For the moment, no one knows.
That was very fast talking. And Valette is their school teacher now.
Mm-hmm.
Do. Lancelot is a bigger gun. That has a bigger gun. Or a big gun.
All the bigger guns.
I was just with that shot of the Emperor just makes me think about how drawing, lighting, and animation is something I always find interesting. I don't know about you, but for me growing up, I always noticed the distinction about how anime had a lot of details in shadows and lighting, whereas a lot of Western cartoons that I'd seen growing up was just solid colors with no shading at all.
Mm-hmm. Animation styles are interesting.
Oh yeah, Babel Tower. Notice several of the floors on Babel Tower are incomplete too. Huh.
Not the thing that you tell him in front of the Emperor.
Who is he? Hmm.
Handlebars.
Random sound effect from that Chinese person.
Radiation.
Hasn't vaporized somebody in a while. Somebody's counting wheels.
Who?
Just kind of walked through a tunnel corridor thing, and they're suddenly not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, but no. Run away!
Nah, just stay and watch. Sure, it's safe.
Hmm. Hmm. Ah! Just crossed my mind that he's like the most forgettable in appearance from of the four holy swords.
Mm.
But I don't remember the names of anyone else. Hmm. He's got two swords. But also, hmm. He's alive! Hmm. It's a small detail, but the fact that his shoulders puff up like a real jacket, I think is cool.
Mm-hmm. Is that what's her name? Nina?
The table molester? Yes. So yes.
I literally have no more predictions because it really doesn't matter.
No?
No.
So
There's not enough information. It's episode 2.
So I don't remember them bringing it up, but I noticed something that I thought was a production mistake, which I can bring that up later.
That there were 23 wheels instead of 24?
There are 23 wheels. Okay. So something I'm curious about is who going into the operation knew who Zero was. So obviously Kallen, C2, and Urabe knew. Urabe's dead. Did everybody in the operation know, or was it just those 3? But in any case, Urabe's dead.
Right.
And I mentioned earlier that his appearance, like he's the only one who I know by name aside from Toto and the Four Holy Swords. But to me, he has the most forgettable appearance. Because there's the old guy who's got like the Klingon forehead with the little circle.
Yep.
There's the girl. There's the guy with the blue bowl cut hair. And then there's Toto. And then apparently him. Yeah. So now the Four Holy Swords is in fact only 4 people and not 5.
Well, details.
Details. I have a few notes, but I'll let you tackle yours if you have any.
I mean, the fact that the Emperor brought Suzaku in to know about the Sword of Akasha, and has Geass of his own, like, that makes sense.
You said that you predicted before that the Emperor has some type of ties to Geass.
Yeah. And so my speculation is that perhaps all the children have the potential for Geass, but not all of them get chosen. I mean, not only is blind, so maybe she has a Geass power. I don't know. That she doesn't know about because she's blind. Cornelia doesn't. Who's the princess who slaughtered everybody?
Euphemia.
Yuffie doesn't. Schneisel doesn't.
What's
What's the name of the guy he killed in the first episode?
he killed Clovis in
Clovis
the second
doesn't.
one.
So, this idea that, like, if there's 17 heirs or more,
Yeah, probably more.
we just saw at the end of this episode that this kid who got out, who's supposedly his brother,
Supposedly.
also has Geass. So, I think the story is simply the main characters are actually demons running around just trying to entertain themselves by giving random humans Geass power.
In like C2 and
Yeah, V2.
because Lelouch was like,
And
tell
now-
me. He's like, don't even think about it. I didn't give the Emperor his power. So
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have lots of other notes. You mentioned the Sword of Akasha. Okay, so back when we were ending the first season, you've made quite a few different predictions. One of them was, we mentioned already, the Emperor somehow being tied with Geass power. Something else you mentioned was that then they're going to introduce a bunch of new family members that Lelouch can kill for no reason. And I don't know if Viceroy Kalaris actually is directly related to him or not, but he is a viceroy, so he must be in some way have a nobility connection. But I remember that you making that note. It's like, well, I guess you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, if it works, it works.
You mentioned this with the first episode last week, how it was kind of a repeat of season 1. And how we have that again, a continuation of the repeat of season 1. Killed Clovis, now he killed Kalaris. And through that, and taking credit for it, makes his debut back onto the world again.
Right.
But also, following the death of Clovis, we saw the military purebloods take over power. And now with the death of Claris, we see the military in Gilbert taking power. So there's kind of a repeat in themes again there. And maybe, I don't know if it's necessarily on the nose, but the Babel, calling the giant hotel under construction Babel Tower and it being incomplete and being destroyed.
Yep.
And
being the episode where they talk about there's a weapon to kill God. Sure. Also, who's God in the world? Like,
what does
if there are demons, now there's apparently a God in the world that the Emperor has the possibility of killing.
Who, and in a lot of...
Have we met them? Probably not.
In a lot of societies, and just the way things have evolved, the title of a king or a leader has kind of, or an emperor, you know, even back, I'm sure it's older than Egypt, but that's the easiest thing to point to, is just the idea of that the emperor, the pharaoh it's both like, the emperor and pharaoh is both God, but it's also like the figurehead and like almost like a conduit for God. It's like you're in the place of him.
Right.
So there's
stewardship.
Yeah.
You're like a steward on behalf of God.
And so we have the emperor in possession of a weapon to kill God. I think that's an interesting,
No idea who that could be. Might be.
I remember doing this, but I don't remember all of the details that I came up with it, so I'll have to look into it again about what the Sword of Akasha is in like the real world, not in Code Geass.
Sure. Find the Wikipedia.
I'll have to look through that again and talk, so I can talk about it more when it becomes a bit more relevant than hey, this thing exists.
Right.
But
I thought it's interesting that Suzaku thought that Lelouch was dead.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he told that to the other knights. So maybe he's just sticking with the lie that the Emperor told him at the beginning.
Well, yeah, because right there, the Emperor and Suzaku says, like, you're the only one that knows about Zero's true identity. And it's been publicly made known that Zero's dead. Yeah. So I just took that as him just furthering the lie, because like he knows who he is. Like, is he back or is this guy a fake?
Right. Also, why did these 12 knights not do anything in the first season?
Why are they all just away in the homeland, not bothering with it?
Even sending one would be fine.
Yeah.
I get, because it's the second season that the story has to unfold like, oh, there are other big weapons. Like, all right, cool. But I mean, supposedly there's peace in the land. So
I have not seen the recap films or the remade films where they remake the whole series into like 3 films. I might have it wrong. They either make it into 3 films, I don't remember, or 6 or something like that. But I know when they did that, they had worked some of the Knights of the Round into really minuscule plot points that don't necessarily matter.
Which makes more sense to me.
Yeah, well, to me,
chronologically.
To me, it also makes sense then that what that means is that it was kind of something that they may have invented later on, realizing that they needed to do more with the story, and they'd already, gotten so far in it. So there's that possibility as well, just in the actual production itself.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up when we get closure to it, but when I made a note about a production mistake, I suppose this is more for the audience in the closure. There's a moment where we see Lelouch go, "Wah," before using his Geass. And I feel like that was a production mistake because it doesn't make sense for him to do that yet. But
I have no idea what that means.
I know you don't know what that means, but since I verbally made a note of there being a production mistake, I feel like I needed to close that for people who have seen the show, might know what I mean by that.
There we go.
I think I hit all of my notes. Production mistake, knows who Zero is, Sword of Akasha, Jonathan's predictions, repeat of season 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much else at this point. I think that maybe Kallen and Zero might hook up at some point, because she was highly sexualized in the last episode and this episode, and every shot they show her is of her butt in the mech.
They did that a little bit.
Her massive breasts hanging out.
They did that a little bit in season 1 too, about how everyone. Actually, no, that's not true. But all of the, I thought it was all of the Britannian nightmares. They sit down in like chairs, but then the Burais and custom Japanese ones, they're almost on them like a motorcycle or something, and they've always kind of given us.
They don't do that to the guys.
Well, yeah, right, but I mean, like for Kallen, they did this still in season 1. Of they gave us angles of her breasts and booty in the Gurren a lot. They've definitely upped it.
She's also wearing a Playboy outfit, basically.
Yeah, wearing a bunny girl. Yeah.
So
there's that. But interesting, actually, I was thinking about, though, with that scene about how she's... It's almost like she's so... Like she's completely separated in her brain Lelouch from Zero.
Yep. Despite
them having been so horribly clashed into each other, of being kind of one and the same.
Yeah, she's in denial. So
she's like, what was it that she'd says? Like, I don't believe in Lelouch, or I'm talking to Lelouch about the bad things, but if it was something good, it was like, this is not to you, Lelouch, it's to Zero, or something like that.
Right.
So she's drawn a hard line between those two people in her head. The only way she can cope, maybe.
Perhaps. I mean, she could just pick up the drug addiction that her mother has.
But she's being treated. Oh wait, she was being treated in a hospital.
Was that insensitive?
I wonder what's happened since then in the last year.
Chances are we probably don't find out, because it's probably not relevant to the story.
Oh man.
Also, that was a joke for anybody who wants to write angry comments.
My shoulder hurts. The joke hit so hard, it hurts my shoulder.
Wow. All right, guys.
All right. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been episode 2 of Code Geass.
Comment, like, subscribe. Check out our Patreon if you want to buy some coffee. And stay tuned for the next episode. Hope you had a happy holiday.
And enjoy the new year.
Also that.
2019 coming at you. Okay, that was dumb.
You just got to be confident about it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.